at 8 a.m. this morning. We talk TV dads a lot in this country. I got a couple of lists sent to me about some TV moms. I put a little bit of a collage together, some of my favorites. And that's on my Facebook, The Stansbury Show. You can take a look at that. We'll take a look at those four ladies and a few others, that at 8 a.m. this morning. And obviously take you through some of your favorites, too. Weigh in. I'm on your socials, The Stansbury Show. Your text line, 330-450-7625 on that. Apparently, there are more than a few recession-proof products. So that's good. I like hearing that because I'm going to read through it and then I'm going to walk down the hallway to the sales department and be like, apparently, no matter what the economy is, people buy these things. So go call the people who are selling these things, right? Like that's going to be my plan, but we'll run you through that. And also, you've heard this term before. Turns out that we have spending experts in this country. Now, of course we do. With as much money as you and I are spending every day, try as we might not to, but we do it, right? Try as we might not to. Of course we were going to end up with this. And they actually tell us there are things that, while trying to do some retail therapy, if you buy these things, absolutely that will work. Interesting. Take a look at what those are. About where that road will go down the road. You know what I mean? Are we going to have night vision contacts? Where are we headed with all of this? But they are working on some of that technology. Yesterday saw the return of Neuter Tuesday. We had not done that for a little while, but we did get into some new MGK. Now, I thought the song was pretty bad. It's called Cliche. He's pretty much begging Megan Fox to come back, realizing he screwed that up. By the way, did you know this about Megan Fox? That the new conspiracy theory online is that she used to be a man. Here's the thing about all of those. Well, first of all, this song sucked, right? Yeah, that was bad, MGK. I don't know what the hell he was thinking about with that one. Yeah, it sure was there, but the video's actually worse. I didn't feel like I should subject you to the whole thing, but I did see a clip of it online, so I was like, all right, we'll share this with the people. Right, so that's at the Facebook page for you as well, The Stansbury Show, that video. Oh my God, dude, that's pretty bad there. We did get into that, also bad as I used to be with Chris Stapleton in Limbo from Deadlands, and that song I actually really did like. The Chris Stapleton kind of left me a little flat, too. We'll round back here and tell everybody, no longer get Neuter Tuesday in the podcast. Do apologize about that. Some of the podcast listeners not real happy when that ends up to be a little shorter than what they are accustomed to. So we'll make sure we get you your full episode today. And like I said, recession-proof products. Let's see you and I take a look next hour here on the Stansbury Show.
At Stansbury Show, Rock 106.9.
I sent a list of the best TV moms yesterday, and I took a little issue with it. Now, these are always kind of set up so people will have the conversation. I put a list together, or a collage rather, I picked four. Now, one of them you would think more of like the grandmother type, but she was a mother on that show she was on. And I also had Claire Huxtable on my collage. And somebody had said, one of the comments to me yesterday was like, didn't you once upon a time tell me she loses points because of the Cosby effect? Well, yeah, I think that's why she probably doesn't show up higher on lists. But I enjoyed the living hell out of watching her when I was a kid. And that show was massive when I was a kid. And so, yeah, I mean, I still enjoy her. Now, I don't necessarily, you don't see the Cosby Show in syndication a whole lot. I'm sure it's on somewhere. Maybe it isn't. Maybe that is the bridge too far. I don't know, but I would imagine on one of those free television networks you get with the smart TV, Ion, or whatever the hell is running in the background until you get Netflix bumped up. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm willing to bet somebody's got it somewhere. I don't know. But I enjoyed the living hell out of her when I was a kid. And she was one of those TV moms that you kind of wanted your mom to be like her, right? Like you kind of wanted that. And so we'll get to some TV moms and who nationally everybody thought was the best. I think my number one TV mom for me, I think, is going to surprise a lot of people. I don't think, you know what I mean? I don't even think she'll get thought of a whole lot. We'll get to it at 8 o'clock. Another thing I can get into quite a bit is, I guess, my fear or even sometimes disdain of technology. Now, I am told often that I make too much out of this. Now, having an affinity for the dramatic is kind of like, that's kind of Stansberry 101. Okay, that's fair. All right, I'll give you that. I have a tendency to be like, what? Like, okay, all right. Yes. Now, I don't want to go crazy about the AI, although we are going to talk about it here just, a little bit of a second. But, I say it all the time that people tell me that CEOs are evil, and yet here comes this thing with the ability to wipe us all out, and somehow this is when you think they're going to spare us and be nice. I don't understand it, but okay. But I have been told that if you combine dumb and old, as I am both, then that's where you will get the fear and disdain of technology. That if I were, younger and smarter, that I would understand everything's going to be okay. All right, maybe. But Meta and I got into it over the weekend. Now, Meta, the parent company of Facebook and also plenty of other social media apps now, I believe, did not Snapchat come into their fold? I believe they did, and I know they acquired Instagram. And that's where Meta and I got into the argument. This happened Sunday, my birthday. They decided to bother me. You know how that will happen, right? And now, did they bother me to wish me a happy birthday? No, it wasn't anything nice like that. It was just to promote itself. So in my inbox, this is what happened. My name is Meta AI. Think of me like an assistant who's here to help you learn, plan, and connect. What can I help you with today? My response, nothing. I wish you did not exist. That's a pretty harsh sentiment. Want to talk about what's bothering you? Sometimes sharing what's on your mind can help clear the air. I'm here to listen. Yes, Terminator T-1000, for sure you're the one I will lay all my problems on. I respond, nothing is bothering me, you're not human. And then they try to calm me down from there, Meta does. Fair enough. Yes, I'm not human. Just a bunch of code trying to be helpful. No feelings or personal thoughts here. Then why would I tell you my feelings or personal thoughts? Then why would I do that? Yeah, exactly right. If you ever need info or just want to chat, I'll be around. Have a good one. I said, delete yourself if you want to be helpful. You want me to cease existing? That's a unique request. Since I'm just a collection of code, I don't have personal desires or feelings, but I can stop responding if that's what you're looking for. So you can do anything I want, except for actually go away and leave me alone. Interesting. Man, am I so happy I have that. Snap has one of those too in the inbox, and I asked the Snapchat inbox Meta, like the AI program once, do you know where I am? No, how would I know where you are? And then I asked it, show me the McDonald's nearest to me, closest to me. And sure enough, it was able to do that. I said, if you don't know where I am, how are you able to do that? I forget the answer it gave me. That was like a year ago. But it gave me some like BS thing about how it's all going to be fine. And like, I probably won't have like, robots invade my house in like 2 years. Like they gave me some like, BS. You're going to be fine, right? Now again, I don't like this kind of stuff. I know. But this does sound pretty cool. And it's technology. I've been having problems with my eyes. People warned me about this as you started to age, that there would be, not everybody gets everything, but nobody escapes anything, right? And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Like, I have really screwed my eyes up. So anything to make vision better, you at least get me interested in. And apparently what we're getting now is infrared, seeing contact lenses. This will turn humans into night visionaries. They say they've done tests in humans and mice. Rats, I guess. Mice, though. I guess mice and rats are different. Mice. So infrared, now this is not night vision. All right, here's the way to make this like Fred Flintstone bedrock, right? So infrared's like Predator, where you see like heat outline, like that kind of like thing. And night vision's just that pure green, PlayStation kind of like, what I mean? That whole thing. So here's how it works. They've developed a contact lens that enables us and mice to see near infrared light by converting it into visible wavelengths. They use specialized nanoparticles embedded in a standard soft contact material. They're see-through, they're clear, allowing users to perceive flickering infrared signals without needing external power. That's the big part, they say. Tests in both animals and humans showed clear behavioral and psychological signs of infrared perception. even with their eyes closed. Wow. Oh, see, I don't know if I would like that. Like, even when my eyes are closed, I can't get away from the infrared. That I don't know if I'd like. They say the technology could have wide applications. They say in security, communication, and even color blindness support.
Hello.
Which, people don't talk about that infliction a whole lot. You don't hear about it a whole lot. I'm willing to bet there are things in life I'm kind of thankful for. That's one of them. That's like an abnormality that you have that I bet is more of a struggle than people kind of talk about. It's more than a slight annoyance, and nobody gives a damn that you have it. I'm kind of thankful I don't have things going on like that. Like colorblind, I'm happy about all the senses. I got them all. Like, I like that. Like, I'm a fan of that, and honestly should be more thankful about it. So, nanoparticle conversion. They use, so they convert this light, they say, between 800 and 1600 nanoparticles, I believe they're, into visible light. They have behavioral proof that mice wearing the lenses avoided infrared lit areas showing active perception. And they also have color coding potential. Different wavelengths can be translated into visible color codes, aiding the colorblind. Yeah, I kind of like that. I like that for people. And I like... again, as somebody who's struggling with their vision now, I don't really like the idea. I don't mind how glasses, I feel like glasses hide more of your face, which I'm always out to do. And so I'm fine with those. People have asked me, do you just get the contacts just be done? It's like, well, no, because my prescription's kind of like, it's just like a hair over a reading glass. So they're on, off all day, and I don't necessarily want that with my finger in and out of my eye all day. I'm fine with the glasses. But being able to see at night like that would be kind of cool. I don't know if Predator doesn't necessarily, that's not what I'm looking for yet. They'll get to what I want. There's kind of like three versions of night vision that we've kind of seen, right? There's the infrared, again, that's more Predator, seeing heat mapping and kind of the outlining there, right? Thermal is how they would say it probably in Call of Duty, right? It's your thermal there. Then there's the standard night vision gray goggle there, you know what I mean? But that are green. And then there's that soft white, like everything's kind of white, and then like humans are like kind of like translucent white. Like that's the night vision. Like if you could give me that, I'm up in the middle of the night, put it on. I heard somebody downstairs. I could put those on and kind of do that without having to turn the lights on. When you could give me that, then I'm in.
And you know what that conniving trickery is called?
The Stansberry Show on Rock 1069.
Let's take a look at some of the most misspelled words in the country. We'll do that at 9 a.m. this morning. I bet that's getting worse because of how often the phone fixes spelling errors for you. Now, sometimes, and this has been happening a lot more to me, given the new update that the typo correction I think it got worse with this last update, but we'll take a look at some misspellings. That at 9 a.m. So some video went a little viral. It's only about 7 seconds long, but apparently a couple of Secret Service agents have been suspended after an on-duty altercation. You and I will occasionally talk some jobs, in the country, best jobs, worst jobs, best paying, jobs you can get without a degree, or this, we'll talk, that kind of stuff a lot. And, I'll be honest about some jobs that I would like to have, maybe. I'm lucky to have the one I have. I'm not necessarily looking to change. But there are jobs I would not want to have. And I think being a Secret Service agent would be one of those for me. I don't think I want that job at all. We'll get to it here in a second. Here's what happened. Apparently, this all went down outside of Barack Obama's Washington, D.C. residence, former President Barack Obama there. Scandal for the Secret Service, I'm told, as two agents now on the sideline. They got into a kerfuffle, if you will, supposed to be protecting Barack Obama's home. And they started getting into it. This was posted via all the social medias, obviously, and it just shows two female Secret Service agents fighting. And an officer then calls out to a supervisor to come by before I whoop this girl's ass, apparently is what gets said here. And so people are making a lot of this, and oh my God, and look how far we've fallen and all of these things, right? And how embarrassing for Barack Obama. And it's like, well, I don't see that at all. right? Like, he ain't out there getting into it with them, right? You know what I mean? If you got him out there snatching weaves off somebody, okay, then embarrassing for Barack Obama. What happened in front of his house? Like, I don't understand this. Well, yes, I do. Right? Yes, I do. Right? Everything my side does is good. Everything that is perceived to happen on the other side, bad, right? And whoever it should be, and then now back and forth, right? That's what that is. Now, I think it's a good look for the Secret Service? No, that's not a good look for them, and they knew that too, which is why they've been suspended. Well, they should be fired immediately. Well, that's an interesting examination. I can get away, I talk about this a lot, right? That stars will get special treatment. And you got to know who you are and where you are in the hierarchy of everything. And I can get away with quite a bit in this building. I can. You know? More than I maybe even should be able to do. But I can get away with quite a bit. If I put my hands on somebody today, I am in fact done. I bring in a lot of money to this game. Like, a lot. More than you'd think. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's, I'm like, right, like, it's almost embarrassing sometimes. It's a decent amount for them. They don't want to lose that. If I find somebody else who will get us at least, you know what I mean? They'll figure it out. Plenty of talented people out there. Somebody out there can't wait for me to screw up like that and then take this opportunity, right? And so they're not going to tolerate that. Physical altercation. And you can make the argument that if that is the standard for you and I, that maybe what the standard is for a secret. Now, do I care if they fire these two women? I don't really. I don't really care. Other than you would be fired for sure. I can't imagine. I'm trying to think of how many of you listening right now could get away with punching somebody where you work. Here's how I know it's not that many. You don't do it. That's how I know. And that's when I read stories like this and people go, oh my God, can you believe this happened? My number one reaction to something like this is, I can't believe this doesn't happen every day. Like, I can't believe when you see the way people treat one another on the freeway, I can't believe you don't beat each other to death where you work. Now, the reason you don't is obvious. You don't want to lose your job. You need the money and setting the example for the kids and, you know, everybody go along, get along, and, you know, that whole thing. That's why everybody screams about being an alpha or a trailer. That's why everybody screams about everything they are on social media walls. Because of who you have to pretend to be to make some money. Right? And so, exactly. Hey, look at that. Turns out he cracked the code. So I don't necessarily care if they fire these women other than that. That's a little messed up. I wouldn't want that job, but I'm surprised I'm surprised this doesn't happen more. That job is this. Every day, you're under the threat of having the worst day of your life, but most days end with, like, not a whole lot going on. But when something does happen, it is the biggest event, like, that's going to happen for a while. You know what I mean? That's going to put the human into that go zone. You know what I mean? Of like, we're ready to go at a moment's notice. We like, you know what I mean? That's just bubbling that right underneath that surface. In that environment, I'm surprised it doesn't happen more. Now, it's interesting because I want to say, of course, this is what, if two women punch each other than it is if two men punch each other, right? I've admitted it a million times. I love Mama Bear, that animal. It's in there. More acceptable about that. And I would imagine it's because if you let two men go longer with Jennifer Aniston.
The Stansberry Show. You're a very easy man to hate. On Rock 106.9.
It's cool when you get up and you feel instantly connected to the world.
The Stansberry Show.
I don't know what it is. I got them on every morning.
On Rock 106.9.
On your Facebook at The Stansberry Show, people have found my collage there of some TV moms. We're going to get into that next hour. And, you know, I'm getting some questions where some classics are. Where's Peg Bundy? Well, dude, if we're going to talk about good TV mom, like, she was a great character. Peg Bundy was not a good mom, right? I don't think she was a good mom. I went with who I thought were good mothers. And I had a good mother. I know sometimes I will give Suzanne fresh hell, but, like, she was a good mom. And, But that's how I made my evaluation. Like, if I had to swap Sue out, I could do worse than these four ladies. And I did skip over some classics, and I got reasons, and we'll get into it, and we'll get into some national lists and who you guys think is the best and all of that. That's part of our next hour. All right. I've told you before that I can be a bad bargain shopper. My mom was better at this than my father was. My mom would go in and would price shop and would look at, is she getting the best deal? My mom would go to maybe more than one grocery store to try to save a little bit of money while grocery shopping. My father would go to the store that was closest to him, buy what he wanted, and came home, didn't care what he spent. They probably were both too far on their extremes and needed to meet somewhere in the middle. But there were things they were willing to compromise on. And then others, it was like, no matter what, we kind of need to have this in the house. And we're all kind of. But no matter what, hell or high water, I will have this. So that's what I have here. They got to asking, even in a recession, not that we're, you know what I mean? But if you had to belt tighten starting tomorrow, not everybody asks, what are you getting rid of? And people will kind of just casually say, this is what I'm getting rid of. What are you making sure you keep here? Now, some of the low-hanging fruit is, in fact, honesty. And I kind of like it. Because this is people screwing around, but telling you the truth while screwing around. More than a few people said weed. And then other people just said drugs. I need something, right? That no matter what, I kind of need, and I've said this before, that's part of it, right? That people will find a way to get through their day. For you, it's nicotine. For them, it's marijuana. For the other people, it's this weed. You will find something to get you through your day. And this is essentially a list full of those things. So I like the honesty there. I'm a marijuana user. And part of the reason why that's easy is because I'm well compensated. It's not inexpensive. It's more cost efficient than alcohol is, for sure it is. But it's not inexpensive, especially these days if you're shopping in dispensaries, right? Because welcome to the government and the taxes. Fine, I have access. But if I were to lose this job, I'm going to want to keep that habit in my life. And so I would probably make a concession somewhere else in order to do that. So I like the honesty out of it, because that's true. If you are into those things, much like beer would be on the list, right? For people who are like a little bit more drink based, they're going to find a way to do that. Absolutely. I know that to be true because we saw it in COVID, right? Where it was like, no, you gotta let people buy alcohol. What are you doing? You gotta let them have it. Remember in the capacity like it is? Yes. You know why? Because life sucks. That's why. Even if life's good, it kind of sucks. And so, that's why that is. Another recession-proof product, and this would be on my list. Toilet paper. I am forced, as you are, to be in a building I don't want to be in for more hours a day than I care for. And so are you. And part of that is these companies need to run efficiently. So they care less about buying things like that than I do. So I am in a bad toilet paper environment. Now there are worse situations, but it's less than desirable is what I'll call it. I can get a little diva-ish about the cheeks. We'll get some Cottonelle purple package, please. And I don't know why, but that's what I like. And I would like that. And I don't get that here. And much like I have said, there's only one brand of ketchup. It's Heinz. I will not buy another brand of ketchup and have it in the house. I don't understand that. I don't use it all that often, but when I want it, I want what I want, and I will not compromise there. And toilet paper would absolutely be on my list. Now, this is interesting. Talking about things that are recession-proof. I don't think this is most people, but it would be a lot of people. And the younger you are, the more likely this would be true. The shoes I couldn't afford when I was a kid. that, yes, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm like, well, because my pushback is, well, we're talking about what you can and cannot afford as an adult. And if we're talking recession, that ultimately means you can't really afford these things even now. Now, again, I just turned 49 last weekend. So what I don't give a damn about shoes, I remember, it's crazy. I mean, I used to be shoe obsessed. I mean, shoe is as short as like 10 years ago. Shoe obsessed. Now I'm like, if I got 3 pairs, I'm probably good. You know, I'm fine. And I've gotten into I need comfortable shoes. I've gotten into that. I have bad feet. And so I'm more likely to spend decent money on my golf shoes than I am. I'm so twisted like that. I am so twisted. Gas is on the list. People say, well, what else am I supposed to do? It's like, yeah, you're right. Even in a recession, you're going to be ending up, if we should happen to face, you're going to end up lining up, you know what I mean, to be buying gas. Because you have to go back and forth to work. You have to make money, right? Now, if the recession gets bad enough, do you still have the job? All right, well, yes, we could have that dog chase its tail if you'd like. By the way, Cleveland 19 is telling me, I just happened to see this, that over this last Memorial Day weekend, gas was the cheapest it's been nationally in 3 years. So that's pretty interesting. So you'll buy that no matter what's going on with the economy, and it's because you need it. Medications was on this list, and yes, you are going to keep yourself alive. That one would have almost been...